Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the August 15th Design Review Board meeting. First up on this evening's agenda is roll call.
Board Member Kim,
Aye.
Board Member Malat,
Here.
Vice Chair Rosner,
Here.
Chair Chong,
Here.
and Board Member Odoricio is absent.
Thank you. Now is a chance for oral communications for any items that are not on this evening's Design Review Board agenda. We ask that if you could introduce yourself and keep your comments at 3 minutes, please.
Hello. Thank you very much. My name is Chuck Hornbrook. I live on Vistazo West here in Tiburon. I just wanted to come and introduce myself to you all. I'm also a candidate for town council and also the chair of the Parks, Open Space and Trails Commission. So I sit on that side of the dais as well. As in addition, my home went through the design review process about 4 years ago. So, and Suzanne, I've met at some RUSD stuff, and I think you were and I think maybe Brian, you were as well. I can't remember. I just wanted to come in and introduce myself so you know who I am face to face. I think it's important for the commissions to know each other personally. And I just wanted to come and introduce myself and also thank you guys for your efforts. This is a tough commission with neighbors talking about things and the subjectivity and objectivity of design. So thank you for your time. And if you have any questions for me, I've sent you each a note so you can contact me. So thank you.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience that wishes to address the board for any items not on this evening's agenda? All right, we'll go to the Zoom call. If you're on the Zoom, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of the screen to let us know that you'd like to speak, and we'll let you in.
Chair Chong, there are no oral communications online.
All right, thank you. With that, we will go to staff briefing.
I have nothing this evening. I'm available for any questions if you like.
All right, with that, we'll move right along to this adoption of the August 1st Design Review Board meeting minutes. Is there any comments or corrections for those minutes?
Are we doing the new style?
Summary minutes, yes.
Yes, but you still have to adopt them after
Okay.
you do the ad.
I move to adopt the minutes.
All right, all those in favor of adopting the minutes from August 1st?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, with that, unanimously pass the adoption of the minutes. And we move to the first and only item on this evening's agenda and public hearings, 8 Burrell Court. If the applicant could please come forward. The way the format works for these is the applicant has up to 20 minutes to present, at which point we might have some questions. We'll also open it up to the public to see if there's any comments on it. And then the applicant will have 5 additional minutes to address any concerns that were raised by the public. So with that.
I also want to note in the record that you did receive a letter this evening. It was at your dais when you sat down. I just want to make sure that you saw that regarding this project.
Thank you. It's going to be a staff briefing tonight.
You're the staff briefing.
As you can see, this is a pretty straightforward project. An addition on the lower level of a master bedroom suite and some auxiliary spaces. And the way this addition is situated would allow us to utilize the roof of the addition to add a little bit of outdoor space and connect some parts of the upper level via a pair of sliding doors to the rest of the deck. And we met with adjacent neighbors, and everyone seemed to be okay with the project. We later got contacted by Ms. Brown, and she had some questions about what the story poles were. I explained to her that the story poles were for the mass of the building and were not for the glass railings that were above. And I also explained to her that the railings that we are proposing will not have a bar on top. Unfortunately, they're shown with a bar on top on the drawings, but we represented to her that we would not have a bar on top, and it would should certainly be part of the conditions for approval of this project. I think her main objection on the letter is why the story poles don't show the height of the glass railings. But in my experience, that has not been what's customarily been done. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to respond. And maybe Michael would like to have a word also, explain the reason for the addition and also the outreach to the neighbors.
Thank you for everyone's time. My name is Michael Sittigatfar. I'm the resident at 8 Burrell Court. I reside there with my partner, Amy Paulin, which is the beautiful young lady behind us, and my two daughters, Sienna and Sabrina. They're 13 and 11 years old. It's a 3-bedroom house, and we use one of the bedrooms as an office, as a big part of working from home is a part of our routine. And so the girls have traditionally shared a bedroom, and we're looking to add another bedroom so they can have their own bedrooms. Yeah, so adding that bedroom would be, a huge part of allowing our family to have a little more space for 2 teenage girls to have their own bedrooms. As Mr. Sadria explained, when it came time to share the plan with everybody in the neighborhood that we thought was relevant to come see it, I invited everyone, and everyone came and participated in looking at things. And everyone was very supportive. In fact, I have a letter of support from all the neighbors that are adjacent to the property. And everyone's been very accommodating and supportive. I did find out early this week that Miss Brown was trying to contact me. She was contacting me through email. And I don't make it a routine as I'm away on vacation to check my email. It's kind of a mental health thing for me. I was away for the last 2 weeks, and then on Monday, I received a text message from her stating that she was trying to get in touch with me and that she didn't appreciate that I was avoiding her reaching out, which was not the case. And so I immediately invited her to my home, brought her in. We looked at the plans together. We looked at we went out to the site outside, showed her the story poles, and she made it clear that she had a concern about what the material of the railing was going to be. She had a picture on her phone that represented what she saw from her deck. And I mean, her home is hundreds of yards away, and I would have never thought it would even be a relevant thing for her to be a part of the discussion. But as soon as I saw that it seemed that it was important to her and that it was relevant, I obviously was trying to be as accommodating as I can. I assured her that the railings would be in glass as the current railings are. We were planning to just continue the railings as they are in glass. She still expressed concern. What she sees from her deck, as far as I can tell from the picture that she showed me, is that her deck overlooks, she has a view of the water in one direction. And then if you shift your gaze over to where my home is, you can see a part of my home and what is the greenery of my yard. And if the addition is made, part of that greenery would potentially be what she's referring to as an obstruction of her view, but it's, in my opinion, very minimal. And I assured her that the railings would be in glass. We offered to put that in writing for her if she wanted it to be in writing, to which she initially said yes, she would like that. And then when she left my home an hour later, she wrote me a note and said, you know what, don't worry about it. It's fine. Go ahead. You have my support. And then I guess the latest occurrences of the last 24 hours, it's kind of a little bit of a shock to me, but I guess that's how these things go. but yeah, we've tried to be very accommodating of everyone. The addition of the room is well below. The home is on a slope and it's down as far as it can be built while still being attached to the home. And, we could have considered building higher up or doing it a different way, but it's been my intention from the very beginning to try to be accommodating. I actually grew up in this area in the same neighborhood, and the home is a home that's been in our family for years. My grandparents lived in that home. I was raised there. And, I feel like I'm a well entrenched citizen of this community and understand kind of the ins and outs of how to be a respectful neighbor. And that's kind of the spirit with which we've gone into this project from the beginning. So I think that would be fair to add as well.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? No? All right, and can we just just real quick confirm the railing height? The railing height, is it 3 foot 6 inches? All right. And with that, if there are no questions for the applicant, we will open it up to the public. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak on this application? Doesn't look like anybody in the room. If we could go to the Zoom call, if you're on the Zoom call, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen and we'll let you in. If you'd like to make a comment.
Chair Chong, there's no comment from the Zoom audience.
Okay, the applicant does have an additional 5 minutes to use if you'd like. No, all right, and then just a quick question for staff on the correct, the story poles that we were viewing that does not include the railing is correctly how is done to town's expectations.
So we generally like to see what the top of the railing would be within the story pole. It's generally where we place them. But there have been many cases similar to this. So I can't say that we absolutely require that to be the top of it, but in this instance, I'm not sure you'd see any more, but it definitely is something that the neighbor's concerned about, to see the top of that story pole.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll just use their 5 minutes. It looks like we have a question from the board. If someone from the applicant come up, you want the architect or? Yeah.
I'm reasonably familiar with the fact that we have a pretty thorough building code here, and we follow it pretty rigidly. The last I heard, tempered glass without a top cap can't be used in Tiburon. You have to use a railing on the top. That's not true of laminated glass or laminated and tempered. So are you prepared to do that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we've done 2 projects recently with that application.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Anybody else? With that, we will close the public portion of the meeting and bring it back to the board. Would anybody like to lead us off on Burrell Court?
Yeah, I think the standard set by the guidelines in the municipal code is about the views and the impact on primary views. And it doesn't say anything that any development shall be invisible or have no impact. So with that, I feel comfortable that, this is a very thoughtful and very subtle design that is embedded into the hillside. And whether it has a top portion or not, I mean, I think even a thin middle piece, I mean, you're not going to see it. So I feel comfortable moving forward without any conditions, except, I mean, everything else is already all glass there, so I can't imagine them trying to change out everything. So I'm sure they would want to sort of integrate it. So I'm comfortable with it is as it is.
Good. Alex?
Yeah, I echo board member Kim's thoughts. I went out to the site. I'm still trying to figure out exactly the potential view obstruction, and I don't see it. I think it's super thoughtful design. I love seeing smart additions that add a ton of functionality to an existing home and not tearing it down to build a new one. And this really built into the hillside and using the existing property and house just makes a lot of sense. I too share your board member Kim's opinion that I would not add a condition to this to have a top rail. You know, the existing railing looks pretty lightweight. So, you know, I wouldn't want to force them to not be able to match it because of this. So I would approve as is. I could also make the findings for the variance given the site location, the existing building, the limits of usable outdoor space and the deck adding to the lot coverage. So I can definitely make the findings for that.
I have the same feelings about it. I think it's stepped into the hillside nicely and it has, it's almost invisible, the mass of it. Only the railings would be visible from anybody. So I would approve it without any conditions, and I too can make the findings for the variance.
Yeah, I'm in the same place. I went out to the property and looked at it, and I mean, I think we could just as easily be seeing an application for a very large addition that would actually cause a tremendous amount of impact on surrounding neighbors. So it seems like a sensible and modest addition. And then as far as the findings, yeah, the nature of the steep slope lot, I think, is kind of what gets me to the most logical building area, requires the additional request for the lot coverage. So I agree with staff on the findings there. So with that, it sounds like we're all in the same place, not to add a no top bar condition. And I think we have a resolution that we'd be looking for a motion on.
I'm confused, sorry, double negatives.
So, what's that?
You are in favor of no top.
So, wait,
You're not in favor of a top.
I thought the general consensus was that it didn't necessarily need to have no top rail.
Yeah.
Sorry, if it was, yeah,
Yeah.
so basically, as submitted, I think the applicant had suggested the willingness to have a condition of no bar, which it doesn't sound like we would necessarily need to see as a condition.
I think it would look better without a top rail, but
Yeah,
approve it without any.
I kind of go on that, but I think I agree with the kind of matching of what's there being the logical design decision.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can make the decision if they want to
Yes or no?
appease the neighbor or match their existing, but
Okay.
I think that shouldn't be us to mandate.
I agree with that.
So with that, I think we're looking for a motion to approve the resolution as is.
I move that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA and that we approve the motion as the resolution as is.
And you can make the findings for
And I
the,
can make the findings for the variance for the lot coverage lot coverage overage.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? And with that, we adopt the resolution to approve 8 Burrell Court. Right. And so we are going to do something interesting here. We are going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And we're going to open up a new meeting that is a special meeting. Let me get to a second agenda here. If everybody could just give me a second.
I think we did have it down as 7:30, but I think we can, 7:15, perfect.
So we're a little late.
Smart
in our
people.
Yeah, all right.
It's better to be late than early.
Let's see here. There we go. Special meeting. So do we need to end the Zoom call and restart a new one? So we have separate recordings, or can we just keep going? Keep on rolling. All right. All right, so welcome everybody to the August 15th special meeting of the Design Review Board. Sorry that we're a little late. Our last meeting ran over a bit. And we will begin this meeting with roll call.
Board Member Malat,
Here.
Board Member Kim,
Here.
Vice Chair Rosner,
Here.
Chair Chong,
Here.
Board Member Odericio is absent.
Thank you. And with that, we will take any oral communications from any items that are not on this evening's Design Review Board agenda. If you're in the audience and have anything that you'd like to say, please raise your hand or come forward. Seeing none, we'll go to the Zoom call. If you're on the Zoom call and you would like to say anything for the Special Design Review Board meeting, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen.
Chair Chung, there's no oral communications online.
And with that, we move right along to staff briefing.
I have nothing this
Yeah,
evening.
Thank
Chair.
you. So we now move to the one item on this evening's agenda, the consent calendar, item CC1, 1930 Straits View Drive, which I think might end up being the same thing that we ended up with last time.
So the way I'm looking at the board currently this evening, Chair, is that it might be impossible to uphold the decision that was made by the board previously, unless somebody is changing their mind. And so we would have to continue this resolution until we had a full board, so we could have the vote accordingly.
I have a question.
Yes,
What are we able to do as a floor? Can we,
you could vote on this resolution. If you're going to discuss it, we'll need to take it off the consent calendar. But I'm just giving you why I'm looking at this board and thinking unless minds have changed, we would be back where we were 2 weeks ago. So I'm hopeful that on September 5th, we have a full board and we could place it on a regularly scheduled agenda at that time.
but we do have the ability to change the vote, our votes on that resolution?
So
Or is it just uphold or?
So the way in which that ordinance is written is that we upheld staff's decision and denied the appeal. So that reso has to come out that you support that and not that you don't. So this is the tricky part, right? It almost feels like we're kind of engineering this, but it's because when you bring back a resolution, that's what you have to support that because you already as a board made that decision. So regardless of how, you feel today, like if somebody wanted to say no and they said yes last time but if there is somebody who's changed their mind and we could get a 3-1, then we could obviously entertain that. The votes do not have to be absolutely the same. They just have to support the decision.
But the vote is only on the resolution, not the original decision.
No, it's only on the resolution. Which is the decision, board member, in a sense.
If you, these double negatives, so if you prove the resolution, then you're denying the appeal.
That is correct, because that is what the resolution says.
Yeah, so maybe I should just do a quick poll. Is anybody in a different place than they were when the application came through? Okay, so it sounds like, and yeah, I mean, so I think that probably the best thing to do is to move it forward another meeting until we can have either a full board.
So this
or-
is an
or
interesting
this-
one because it's on the consent, so we don't usually vote on consent items necessarily. Well, continuance, let's make a motion to continue this item to September 5th, so it's a specific date, if you could.
Would it be possible to just take it off the consent calendar?
It is, but
Okay, yeah.
it's okay to do it this way too, because we vote on consent items,
Right.
so,
right.
yeah. Right. We're really not supposed to even be discussing it in this same manner, but we are.
All right, so with that, could I get a motion to continue CC1 to the September, 5th Design Review
Yes.
Board meeting?
Yes, Chair. So I need a motion on the floor.
I move to move the consent calendar agenda to the next meeting.
September
second?
5th.
Make a
And
motion.
all those in favor of moving it? Aye.
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 Opposed? None, and we move this item to September 5th. And with that, we adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Go home and get some sleep.
Um,